Welcome to the Vault XL. Countdown till Sunday. The Queen will be 52, January 29th. God is good. I want to thank you all for the kind words and birthday wishes. Yes, I had a wonderful time last night. Made it safely home, designated driver. Thank you all so much for following the content, tuning in. If you're a new subscriber or you join the chat, know that you are welcome to always hit the link if you are a chat member, commenting in the chat. Thank you so very much for your time. This will possibly be a winded live today. This is a two-part live pertaining to Leilani Simon and Miss Taylor, who was representing Xana Kernodle's mother, Cara, and Bryan Kohlberger. There is a big mess going on out there in Idaho. And what's so disturbing about this information is that she knew better. She knew better. And it's absolutely ridiculous, this new information, with all the gossip and rhetoric and nasty things that were said, as far as the mother, people implicating the mother in this crime. When this information came to the public, just nasty rumors about her. And now to have this mess here, to know that this woman, Miss Taylor, represented her first and dropped her once Kohlberger came along, is just outrageous to me. I will be bringing you information of a list of the lawyers that are on the list, public defenders, who obviously could have done a job representing Kohlberger, because my understanding, if you have a list of people, then why would their names be on the list if they weren't qualified to defend him? Death penalty case or not, I don't know anything about law, so I'm not here to even give my expertise in this area. But there's something off here, and there's something off with this lady, and I'm going to dissect it two ways. She took the case to throw the case in limbo, knowing Xana's mom and the victim's correlation to the case, or she took it for clout. She knew it would be a high-profile case, and she wanted recognition, such as her client. Take your pick. Throw the case, throw it off, hoping it would, harm Kohlberger, or she did it for self-serving purposes to boost her own career. Thank you for joining me. You're now listening to the Vault XL. First commentary is pertaining to Leilani Simon. But before I do go into that information, I want to bring you an update pertaining to other stories in the YouTube queue. Please check my community board for all said information and verification. Thank you so much for your time. A lot to bring you today. All right. The suspect in the Half Moon Bay shootings is now facing 8 charges. Homicide. Please check out my community board. News Nation is the source. The teacher that was shot by the 6-year-old is now suing the school district. Also, News Nation. And Anna Delvey signs a deal for reality TV series on Balance. News Nation is also the source of that information. Nancy Grace has a new podcast uploaded to the queue pertaining to Bryan Kohlberger. It's pertaining to the search warrant and the contents thereof. And I also want you to listen at a True Crime Design. She has a video uploaded that I put on my community board pertaining to BF. This is the roommate that was allegedly living on the first floor during the murders. It's titled, Why Did Greek Road Know Before Police? I never knew that the other 2 girls that were not harmed were sorority members. So you're entitled to your opinion on that said information, but that's a video I'd like you to check out. It's not very long. It's under 12 minutes. I'm trying to bring you all the latest information I have to my community board. I'm going to go ahead and get started. And of course, most of you know that Alec Baldwin has got himself in a pickle pertaining to that murder that took place on set. Very strange situation there. Why they would have a loaded gun on a set when we have special effects is a mystery to me. But sadly, a woman lost her life. And I'm trying to figure out how she got shot, because she's not an actress. She's a cinematographer. So I'm trying to understand how she would have gotten shot during the scene. So was he aiming it at her, playing with the gun? What? I'm not really sure. Court TV has footage of people rushing in when the woman got shot. Feel free to check out Court TV for that set information. Thank you for joining me. Let's start off with Leilani Simon. The prosecutor in this case does not want live streaming in the courtroom. I hope that they would. I don't know how this would affect the jury at all, because the jury is going to be there. So I don't know what's going on with that situation. But I would really like for there to be live streaming in the court, because I would like to see the expressions on her face, how she reacts to the information, the testimony, the evidence. I'd like to see the other people who are going to come in the court and testify. I'd like to see their expressions. I'd like to see the camera. No way what? Her own self. They can come in and take notes, is what the prosecutor said. Savannah now is the source. In a hearing in Chatham County Superior Court on Wednesday, Judge Michael Karp delayed a motion to determine how print and broadcast media will be able to cover the trial of Leilani Simon, charged with murdering her 20-month-old son, Quentin. On December 14, 2022, the Chatham County grand jury indicted Leilani Simon with 1 count of malice murder, 2 counts of felony murder, 1 count of concealing the death of another, 1 count of falsely reporting a crime, and 14 counts of making false statements during the course of a police investigation. She had reported Quentin missing on the morning of October 5, 2022, after nearly 6 weeks of searching by a multi-agency team of investigators. FBI pathologists in Quantico, Virginia, confirmed the remains found in the Chatham County landfill were those of Quentin Simon. Leilani Simon's attorneys filed motion for DFCS records also. You need verification for that information. The motion hearing on Wednesday involved Rule 22, which dictates that no person shall use any recording device in a manner that disrupts a proceeding. According to the rule, Chatham County allows media to cover court proceedings, though some hearings are closed as ordered by the judge. In cases that draw national attention, such as the murder trial of the 3 men who killed Ahmaud Arbery in Brunswick in February 2020, setting coverage expectations has become the norm. During that trial, the number of reporters allowed inside the courtroom was restricted, and no electronic devices were allowed inside the courtroom, except for a single camera that recorded the proceedings for limited broadcasting and an overflow room provided for media outlets. Simon's attorney, Robert Attridge Jr., did not object to broadcast media's coverage of the case, but state prosecutor Timothy Patrick Dean did, at least partially. Reporters can come in with a pen and paper, and I wouldn't object to that. I'm talking about not allowing broadcasting and live streaming, argued Dean. Karp did not make a final decision as to how the media will be able to cover the case, largely because he was temporarily filling in for Chatham County Superior Court Judge Tammy Stokes, who was presiding over the case, but was unavoidably out of court today, Karp said. I figured you may make a case to Judge Stokes about that because of the distinction between print and electronic media. I'm not sure what she'll say about that, Karp said, addressing Dean. Citing the First Amendment, Karp said he is certain that Judge Stokes is going to file a motion more detailed order on the Rule 22 request. Karp said the decision to accommodate the media will be thorough and will be designed to provide fair access, but also to prevent any disruptions in the trial schedule. Among other questions, Karp said Stokes will have to consider the size of the courtroom, and the accommodations for reporters, possibly with a media booth located in back, but not 6 or 7 camera crews, 1 or 2. Savannah Now is the source. So the prosecutor is saying the reporters are allowed to come in with a pen and paper. Who wants to write all this stuff down? They're not, what's the word I'm looking for? The person that sits in the court and does all that typing, who wants to do all this? Which we know that when you're a reporter, you're assumed to have a good memory. But at some point, taking notes gets old, especially when the information is winded, such as a trial. You will need a recorder and cameras. So obviously, I do not know how large the courtroom is. If the judge will want a bigger courtroom, or she will settle on the courtroom that she's in and only wants, as this prosecutor is stating, 1 or 2 cameras to film partial information. And then some people will probably feel like, well, what's the point of me watching if I'm only getting certain elements of the case? Some people like to watch the trial from the moment you open the doors to the moment you close them, as not to leave anything out. So that's the said information. The judge, she was not available today, so there was a stand-in judge. And when I get more information for the next hearing, hopefully the judge will make a decision. She'll be able to show up for court. She'll be able to make a decision on how much media access will be allowed in the courtroom. As I said, I do not know the size of the courtrooms in this building, so all that's going to be a factor as well. How many people are they going to allow in to listen, take notes? How many cameras are going to be allowed in? 1 camera, 2, 3, I don't know, because I don't know the size of the building and I don't know how big the courtrooms are. So all this will be up to Judge Stokes, what she decides to do. But that's the said information coming out of Savannah, Georgia. Savannah Now is the source. If you need verification or you have any issues with the information in this content, I suspect you should refer your questions to Savannah Now or Savannah Court, because I have no answers pertaining to that information. I'm just a messenger. As I said, I would prefer to see it play out in court. I don't understand what they're talking about disruptions. What disruptions would there be? The reporter is there to report. The cameraman is there to film. So I don't understand what disruptions it will. I don't really understand the context, because they're there to film the information. They're not going to be the ones showing out and falling out and acting a fool in the courtroom. So I don't know what they're talking about. Maybe I need to explain to me thoroughly, because I don't really know how this will be a disruption. Is it because it'll be too many people filing in and out? I don't know. Next commentary is pertaining to Xana Coronato's mom, Miss Taylor, Bryan Koiberger. This has to be the craziest case thus far. The information I'm about to bring to you is just absolutely horrendous. I got nothing but notifications this morning from Twitter. Bryan and Jennifer Coffindaffer, they're all been on Twitter this morning giving information last night or whatever pertaining to this case. It's just, as I said, it was bad enough. All the gossip and, wild stories pertaining to these kids, parents, accusations of who did it, why. But this is out of control. I have never seen real crime it's like being in the street. It's just nonstop BS. And I think people just aren't even realizing that you're talking about 4 dead people, 4 brutally bludgeoned young adults who are not coming back. And everything that's transpiring at this moment, as I speak right now, is a travesty to them. It's a mockery of their deaths. Miss Taylor, let me talk to you directly, honey. Why in the world would you take on Bryan Kohberger's case knowing you are representing the mother of one of the victims? You had to have known, whether they have the same last name or not, this world is small. So I'm baffled that nobody in your office knew of this woman's child being murdered. Please explain to me. So I need confirmation on when Miss Taylor found out that the victim is related to her client. Also, the fact that there's some issue with Miss Cara saying something about using this woman as a power of attorney. For what? To go into rehab. This is all strange information to me. Just strange, and strange. Stranger. I can't even gather my thoughts right now because it's like too much. Then Miss Coffindaffer has put on her Twitter page a list of attorneys. I'm assuming list of attorneys that could handle the case. So why do we have this notion that Miss Taylor is the only person in the state or nearby that could handle the case? Court alone is not around the corner from Moscow, from my understanding. So I'm trying to understand, is she the only person in the state that works for a state office that can handle this case as a public defender? And why no one in this office besides herself? Oh my God. Did not know that this man killed the woman's child. I'd like confirmation on when Miss Taylor found out. Oh, sorry about that. Got high winds here, so I guess the internet's being disturbed. Sorry about that. I'd like confirmation to when Miss Taylor found out about Xana's mom, because something is very strange here. When did she find out Xana's mom? She's the mother. Cara, she's still oblivious to what's going on in this case. Strange to me. She hasn't talked to any of the other victims' parents. She hadn't even talked to her daughter, who happened to go to Washington State University. Are you hearing this? It's like one surprise after another. It's like you can't make this up. So it's bad enough this dizzy broad represented a victim's mother, took the case anyway, because we got to prove that she knew. Oh, Lord have mercy. Cara just now finding out while doing her interview with News Nation, she feels betrayed by this woman. Power of attorney allegations. And then we found out Cara has another daughter that is attending the Washington State University while Kohberger was there. This is what I was trying to explain to you all earlier. You don't know when he started stalking the girls. And like I said before, it will be interesting to find out he was stalking the girls before he moved to Washington. Please listen to what I'm saying. What if we find out he was stalking the girls back in Pennsylvania? Because there's a strange oddity with him coming this far out to the West Coast to go to school. And it's not to say that he didn't have a right to go there. You're entitled to apply to any university you want to attend, because people do. People attend from out of state, out of country. So that's not a big deal. But it's a It's something in the thought process because he didn't know the victims allegedly. And he watched so many times, and his phone is pinging at their house 12 times. And then you have to count the time frame of the pings. They're hanging around the house. It's too close in proximity to their deaths. If we'd believe it went from June to November or August to November, because there's variances of the sources of the time he actually touched down. If let's just say he went there in August, that is a short span to be stalking people, running over to their house, following them, assumingly following them other places. And now we find out that there's another sister of a victim who actually attended the same university with this dodo bird. And like I told you all, when he was walking around free for a month, how do you know he wasn't Googling and searching these kids' family members and where they lived? See, nobody's talking about that. And whether they had the two girls in protective custody or not, they didn't want to mention that DM was on the second floor for security reasons. That makes no sense because she says she saw the killer. So now we have to ask ourselves, did Kohlberger see her? And this is the reason why they kept that a secret, as to preserve her safety, she and BF's safety. But see, that's a toss-up of the coin because we don't know what Kohlberger is going to say and not say. He's pleading not guilty, so he's not going to tell anything. Yeah, I saw her and I just left her there. This case is whack to me at this present moment because the information coming out right now is bad. It will probably be years before this fool goes to court. And the parents can't grieve properly with all this extra stuff. And naturally, there's going to be technicalities, with going to court, what can be revealed, blah, 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 all the, legalities of going to court, legalities. But this extra shit here with Miss Taylor and Cara, to me, is unacceptable. Now, as someone said, this could just be an oversight. Did not know that the victim in the case, the mother, I or someone in my office is representing her. So you can't say others because they say it's Miss Taylor. So Miss Taylor, I'm going to ask you directly. The last time you talked to Cara, did Cara not tell you that her child was brutally murdered in Moscow, Idaho? Did she or did she not? Because if she told you her daughter was murdered, you had to have put two and two together, duh, when somebody approached you about representing Kohlberger before he even touched down on Idaho soil. So all this legal wrangling with him appearing in court, Pennsylvania, him being in jail, he had a public defender speaking for him. They had to get access to an airplane and monies to fly him back to Idaho. At what point did you not realize your client is the mother of one of the victims that he's accused of murdering? This is, oh my God, I've never heard of such in my life. Oh, let's go to Twitter and see what they're talking about, because it's a lot going on. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $BeganT129 Cash App. All stickers and chats are welcome during the live stream. Thank you for your time. Is everyone hearing me okay? We'll make sure everyone can hear me. All right. Bryan Inton. Xana Kernodle's mother, Cara, I think I spelled her name wrong, Northington, says she feels betrayed that her public defender, Ann Taylor, dropped her case and is now representing Bryan Kohlberger, the man accused of killing Xana. Northington says she found out through social media. The Queen responded, "This woman is vile. Why drop the woman's Why drop the mom's case when you had it first? There is something very wrong here. This lady may have taken BK's case for clout, knowing it is a high-profile crime. The PD's office needs to be looked into. Okay. Now somebody has a smart comment pertaining to the mother, replying to Bryan Enton. Lawyer can't get a hold of her to advise her to turn herself in, but media can get a hold of her to do an interview. Any bounty hunters watching this? It's so sad. She needs help, not enablers. Well, I didn't know she was on the run, so I don't know anything about that. Now somebody replies, boy, you all are going in today. Just had to create a story about this, right? This woman has repeatedly offended, so she's clearly not reliable. Public defenders have no choice in clients and did everything the right and ethical way. She clearly qualified for the next job. Move on. Well, I don't know. I don't know. But if her client had to become a witness, I would possibly say that would be a problem. So, yes, it would be a problem. Because if they ever called her mother into court, Miss, whoever this is that responded, Miss Girl with a Heart 1365. If the mother ever had to go to court, this would be a problem because Miss Taylor would have to cross-examine her own client per her other client, Mr. Koiberger. So you obviously don't know much about the law to know about witnesses testifying, because we don't know how many witnesses they're going to have in this trial, how many parents they're going to have come in to talk about when the last time they talked to their child, last time they saw their child, the mood of their child. So you don't know. So that could be a problem if they wanted to call her in to testify about her daughter, seeing her daughter last, blah, blah, blah. And I get it. You work for this office, obviously must have been in the jurisdiction of where Xana's mom had said crimes, committed crimes. Going to have to get more information on this conflict of interest. Exactly. Knowing the uproar it would be. Exactly. That's a disturbance even in itself if the law says there's no conflict of her representing Koiberger versus representing the mom of the dead person. It's a distraction. It's a distraction. Man, I'm lost for words. Oh, Lord. Let's see. Some girl says, please read this. Great explanation. Conflict of interest. Best I've seen yet. Let me pull it up. Prints are so small, you can't read this stuff. Somebody says, in this case, Miss Taylor never represented Cara Northington in any case that would make her directly adverse to Bryan Koiberger. In the Koiberger case, Northington is the mother of alleged victim of the defendant. In Cara Northington's case, she's accused of possession of a controlled substance in a case that in no way involves Bryan Koiberger. According to the court database, Cara Northington retained Ann Taylor to represent her. Neither knew at the time that the State Office of Public Defense would appoint Taylor to represent the alleged murderer of Northington's daughter, Xana. Cara Northington has a lengthy criminal history, most of it relating to drugs and alcohol. There's also evidence in the court record of family disruption and parental discord for Xana and her sister. None of that overlaps in any way that we know of with Koiberger. If Miss Taylor had previously represented the victim, Xana, the analysis would be different, because in that case, there would be a chance Miss Taylor could have learned information about Xana that could later be used at trial to discredit her as a victim or call circumstances of the crime into question. It is not unusual in smaller jurisdictions for these kinds of situations to arise. To further complicate the situation, Ms. Taylor is one of the only 29 lawyers on the state's Capital Council roster. Of those 29, only 14, including Ann Taylor, are qualified as lead counsel on capital cases. and Taylor is the only qualified lead attorney in her district. Okay, so we've got 14 out of 29 qualified, and she's the only one in her district. So does that mean Moscow is in the district of Corleone? Thank you, I did. Thank you so much. I don't know. Interesting information there. What else they got over here? This is somebody else's breakdown of this case. Taylor was retained to represent Cara Northington in a drug possession case. There was no way either could know that the state would later appoint Taylor to represent the alleged murderer of Northington's daughter. Many other attorneys are qualified to represent a client in a simple drug possession case. Taylor is the only lead counsel qualified capital attorney in the district where the Kohlberger case arose. Taylor's acceptance of the Kohlberger case is not a conflict because she has never represented anyone directly adverse to Kohlberger, and her representation of Northington is in an unrelated case would not materially limit her responsibilities to Kohlberger. Taylor's withdrawal from Northington's case was advisable, but out of respect for her and to ensure that there was no appearance of impropriety or conflict. I know this feels like it might be a conflict of interest, but it is not. Now, who's the person reading this off? I don't know who this person is. All this is off of Twitter under Bryan. Oh, Lordy have mercy, Jesus. I'm going to go to Coffin Daffer's page. Coffin Daffer says, not beating a dead horse, because as long as she represents the Moscow homicide suspect, there'll be a potential appellate issue, G&D explained. Okay. That's why I said it would be a problem if down the road Cara had to come to court for some reason pertaining to the murders of her child and the other children. So you don't know. You're just assuming what will and won't happen in court. Nobody can assume who's going to be called as a witness. So there would be a problem. You're representing her on a drug charge, and then she has to end up coming to court for something to testify. So you can't say. You can't assume that she wouldn't be a witness or called as just somebody to bring information about her daughter. You have to know that in a trial, a murder trial, their family members are called into court to give you information to the court and the jury of who these people were, what they did for a living, what it was like carrying them in the womb, their childhood. Duh. You don't think there's not going to be any character witnesses for the dead? Come on, you guys. I mean, I get it. One's drug case, one's murder, but it's still plausible that this lady could be called to just give testimony about her child. So there would be a problem. Now she's withdrawn herself. Oh, God. I've had just about enough of this nonsense. Let's go over to News Nation and see what Miss Cara has to say about this situation. Wow, what a mess. What an utter mess. And to go on and on about her drug life and that she's not reliable. A lot of people use drugs. I'm not going to say every person that uses drugs is a liar, but still, just to say nasty stuff, it doesn't have any relations to Miss Taylor representing her versus Kohlberger. Her drug actions, what's the point of mentioning that? There's no point. News Nation is the source. Idaho victim's mom heartbroken by defense lawyer switch.
With a couple of lawyers. Your spouse can no longer retain any of those lawyers just because you had a conversation. So this woman, Cara Northington, whose daughter was violently murdered in Idaho, one of the Idaho Four, those 4 students killed in Moscow at the University of Idaho. She is now facing the reality that the person she trusted most with 4 of her cases is now representing her daughter's accused killer. Here's that conversation. So, Cara, what was your first reaction when you learned that your former attorney is representing the man accused of killing your daughter?
I'm heartbroken. I'm heartbroken because I trusted her. She pretended that she was wanting to help me, and to find that out that she's representing him, I can't even convey how betrayed I feel.
Have you had a chance to speak with her about this?
No, I haven't spoken with her. I found out through a friend who found it on Reddit. So, you found out through a friend through social media. You weren't notified by Ann Taylor, your attorney, herself? Right now.
See, this is where I have a problem with
New
this.
device connected.
Sorry about that. This is where I have a problem. Why in the world, Miss Taylor, would you not call this lady to tell her, one, you was dropping the case and taking Kohlberger's case? Yeah, because that would be very awkward, wouldn't it? That conversation. What's the truth to her saying something about you being the power of attorney so she can enter a drug program? I don't know why anybody would think that would be a lie, because that's a bit of an extensive lie to make up. I'm giving this lady power of attorney to put me in a drug treatment. So then I'm sitting here questioning, did she not have any family, Miss Cara? And then why wouldn't you call her to tell her you're recusing yourself from Kohlberger? So all of this is strange to me. Nobody calls the woman to tell her, hey, we're also representing the guy who has allegedly killed your kid, number 1. Number 2, hey, I'm removing myself as Kohlberger's attorney. Number 3, I cannot have power of attorney to put you in a drug rehab. That is to your own doing if you want to go to rehab. What is going on? This is like a really bad circus act. This is what I hate about these cases, because it's bad enough people in the street making up stuff, going on and on and on about things they have no idea about. All the nasty things that were said about Mr. Gonsalves being involved, Xana's mother being involved because you all found out her mother was on drugs. Some of you just couldn't wait to go run out of breath with that information, when all along it was some fucking goofball from Pennsylvania that killed these kids, allegedly. And now here comes this mess of conflict, no conflict, power of attorneys turned over or axed. Man. Oh, man. This is bad. Let's finish this. News Nation is the source.
Unmuted.
Sorry.
Play. Muting.
Sorry, it's muted. I hate this Roku thing. It makes so much noise.
So, just so many thoughts. It's so incredible that there is this connection. Are you going to try to fight this at all?
Well, yeah, absolutely, yes.
Because as I understand it, this would require a waiver, something that you sign and that he would sign in order for her to go ahead and be able to do this legitimately. I can imagine the way your reaction is that you are not interested in signing a waiver to allow her to continue on.
Right, exactly. And I'd already given her power of attorney. I'd already signed over power of attorney so that she could help me with getting into rehab and whatnot. And so, I don't understand how she could do this. I don't understand what happens now. Does she still have power of attorney, or what goes on now?
And no one has reached out to you from the public defender's office to help you navigate next steps?
No.
Have you been in communication with the police and prosecutors about the next step in this process and where you might fit in?
No.
And do you want that? Do you want to be in communication with them to understand what's happening and what they're going to be doing as they move forward in prosecuting him?
Yeah. Yes.
So no one has reached out to you?
No. Not the prosecutors anyway, no.
Who have you spoken with?
I've honestly, just media has been getting a hold of me.
Do you feel like you're being left out of this process?
A little bit, yeah.
Had you ever heard the name Bryan Kohberger before?
No, I have not, no.
Oh, Lord.
And do you know of any connection at all that he might have had with your daughter, Xana?
I can't imagine. I can't imagine that she had any connection with him. He's quite a bit older than all of them, and all of their friends. Really, I mean, they didn't really hang out with a lot of older people. So, I don't know if they knew him, or I mean, they could have, because he did attend school at WSU, which is another thing. My oldest daughter Jasmine attends school at WSU.
Did you hear that?
And so the fact that the law enforcement knew who he was from the get-go and didn't warn us to keep Jasmine home from school, that just
that's deep.
And Jasmine was at WSU for the whole 7-week period.
Yes.
From the murders to the arrest. She was there the whole time.
Yes.
What's her reaction to this?
This is crazy. This is crazy.
I haven't spoken with her about it yet, but I mean, I can only imagine, you know.
Oh, Lord.
She was adamant about going to school. She wasn't going to let this keep her from going to school. But I think it would have been different had she known that Xana's killer was going to school.
Exactly.
From what you know,
exactly.
No connection that you know of anyway between Kohberger and Xana. Do you think it's possible that he may have connected with Xana and Maddie through the Mad Greek restaurant where they worked?
That is a possibility. I mean, I'm sure they connected with a lot of people that way, and that could very well be how they connected with him.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider, and don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven.
Okay, everybody. News Nation is the source of that information. This is wicked. You hear her talking about power of attorney. That doesn't sound like something made up. She said she signed over power of attorney so this lady could get her into rehab. I don't see that she would be making that up. Who makes up something like that? Whether she uses drugs or not, I still see someone making that up. Miss Taylor stopped being Cara's lawyer January 5th. It's like 3 weeks or so ago, okay? So at this point, she knew about Kohberger. She knew about having this lady as a client. Because you can't stop being something without having the knowledge of being. So at some point, she got wind that Cara is the victim's mother. So this is why I asked the question. When did Miss Taylor find out that Xana and Cara are related? Because he got arrested on December 30th. So that's not a long time. 31st, 5 days. You're talking about what? About 6 days. So about less than a week. There's some type of something going on between somebody telling somebody. What I think is so sad about this case, besides this new information, and also now finding out Jasmine attended school while Kohberger was there. Why I kept trying to tell you all, you don't know how much snooping and what he was doing while he was free, and all these other months he was running around snooping and showing up at their house, God forbid, the restaurant, which the owner refutes that. allegation. I tell you, you don't even know if he knew where these kids' parents lived or anything. Now we found out she had a daughter. She has a daughter attending the school who didn't want to stop going to school. Yeah, but she didn't know, like she said, she didn't know that, hell, the perpetrator goes to the same school you go to. What are the odds? I am starting, my head is spinning right now because this is more baffling than anything. She has an older daughter that attended the same school with Coy Berger. What are the odds of that? Are you all listening to what I'm saying? Because this is crazy to me. The oldest daughter or other daughter went to school with Coy Berger. 6 degrees of separation. I want everybody to pay attention to what I'm saying. 6 degrees of separation. Yes, thank you all for the birthday wishes. 6 degrees of separation. This boy is from the East Coast. He makes his way all the way to the West Coast. Finds these kids on social media or some type of way. Stalk them, kill them. Now we find out his new attorney represented the dead girl's mama, put her down on the 5th of January. And now we also find out that the other daughter of one of the victims, sister, went to school with Coy Berger. I'm done. Lord, let's play the last video pertaining to Cara. Oh, wow, man. This is bad. This is so bad. This is worse than bad. News Nation was that first source pertaining to Miss Cara. We're going to play another content, News Nation as well, pertaining to Miss Cara. And I also believe there will be some more information released tonight pertaining to Cara's interview with Banfield. Thank you all for joining me. Oh, wow. Mother of Idaho victim. Xana would want us to live our best life. Thank you all so much for joining me.
There's so many missing details, so much mystery still surrounding what happened, in that house. And you surviving roommates, have you had a chance at all to speak with the 2 surviving roommates about what they witnessed, at least in the middle of the night and the next morning?
No, I haven't got to speak with them at all. So yeah, there is a lot of questions.
What about the other family members of the other kids? Have you had a chance to talk to them?
No.
Is that something you'd like to pursue?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I haven't yet. I mean, I wouldn't mind speaking with them.
How are you managing?
I have my friends around me, and honestly, I watch a lot of Xana's TikTok videos, and that helps.
Oh, wow. This is crazy.
I mean, I'm managing as best as you can,
Jesus Christ.
Is there something you can tell us about Xana, the girl you knew?
Xana was tough. She was strong. She was funny.
Wow.
She just couldn't make you smile, no matter what. And she just had a quirkiness about her that not a lot of people possess, that kind of talent to be able to light up a room like she did.
I feel like I see that in her social media. I didn't have the luxury of meeting Xana, but I feel like just looking at her social media, there's such a carefree spirit, and she definitely looks like she had a real tinge of being the comedian, in the room. Did I catch her right? Did I describe her right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think you can see from her TikToks, just how funny she was, and how carefree and just funny. She was funny.
Are you going to be okay moving through this process? It could take years in order to see justice finally arrive. Are you going to be all right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I will be. I mean, I hope so. I just got to take it one day at a time. And I don't think I'll ever get over losing one of my children. That will never go away. I don't think that the grief ever gets any better, really. I just think that she would want all of us to live our best life and remember the good things about her.
That is Cara Northington, the mother of Xana Kernodle, speaking with us exclusively tonight here at News Nation. And I also asked her a few questions about what she wanted to see happen to Bryan Kohberger, what kind of punishment she would like to see if, in fact, he is convicted of this quadruple murder. And her answer was, I would say, stunning. Tomorrow night, you're going to hear the second part of that interview, including that answer. But some fascinating insight into this case and where she stands at this point. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your telephone.
All right, everybody. That's the latest information. At the beginning of this live, I brought you information pertaining to Leilani Simon. She had a court hearing yesterday. The judge in that case was not present, so there was a fill-in judge, and it was to discuss live streaming and broadcast inside of the courtroom for this trial. The prosecutor wants, I guess, limited streaming of the court proceedings. So when I get more information for the next hearing, I will bring you that set information. Savannah now is the source. Feel free to go back to the beginning of this live stream to get that said information. The prosecutor in that case wants limited live streaming in the broadcasting of the trial. Leilani Simon is accused of murdering her 2-year-old child, Quentin Simon. I do not have any information pertaining to Billie Joe Howell and what her arrest record is for, if it's in any relation to this case. Court TV has an upload pertaining to that information. Naturally, nothing has been revealed in that, but if you want to just hear their commentary, feel free to go over to Court TV. They have a short video about this court proceeding that took place yesterday. And as I said, the judge was not present. There was a fill-in judge officiating during yesterday's court hearing. Part 2 of this live stream is pertaining to Miss Taylor, who was representing Bryan Kohberger, the accused suspect in the murders of Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, and Xana. News Nation has spoken with Xana's mom, Miss Cara Northington. I've played you 2 videos pertaining to her commentary. There will be another video uploaded to News Nation tonight, I believe. And if you want to listen to that information, feel free to check in. I will also post it to my community board. This is a baffling story. So I'm recapping everything I've mentioned and played in this live stream. 29 people on a roster for public defenders in this jurisdiction, Idaho, blah, blah, blah. 14 qualified for the death penalty to fight the case. But Miss Taylor was the only one in the jurisdiction of the crime, which was Moscow, Idaho. So I don't know how many counties she can serve, but that's the set information I brought you earlier from Twitter. We also get information through this, from this News Nation. Cara talks about using this woman as a power of attorney. I can't even get my words out. I don't know what that's all about, but she said she signed some document because she was trying to go into rehab. Where are her family members? See, there's something off here. Where are the family members for Miss Cara? Where are the brothers, the sisters, the other children? Anybody that could take care of her, be a power of attorney in case something happens to her. Why would she need this lawyer to be a power of attorney? Why would she need this woman to be the power of attorney? Please make me understand. What day did this woman find out that this is Xana's mom, who is her client, who she has represented before? Now, I read your commentary where they said she hadn't represented her. Well, that can't be true because News Nation just showed you on the screen, January 5th, she removed herself as her attorney. Well, that was weeks ago. That was weeks ago. So you can't remove yourself from something that you were never involved in the first place. That's why it's called removed. You can't remove yourself from something that you were never involved in. I find it strange she hasn't talked to the other family members. She didn't know a lot at the beginning of this case when News Nation was interviewing her. Banfield was going around and around and around with the same questions she couldn't give the answers to because she obviously did not know her daughter well. I don't know what type of relationship she did not have with Xana, but obviously it wasn't a good one because she didn't even know what kind of car the girl drove. She hadn't seen her daughter. She told you that in the interview. When I did go up there, she was in class. One would say, well, why drive to your child's school if you knew they would be in school? So did she raise this child or not? If she did, how far in life did she raise Xana and her siblings? How many siblings are we speaking of? We also now get information from Cara that one of her other children was at the school with Koiberger at Washington State and insisted on going to class even after these murders. But, as Cara said, she may not have felt that way had she known the alleged killer was also a student, grad student at Washington State. How bizarre is all of this information? We've gone from sublime to the ridiculous. Or is this ridiculous to the sublime? This is whack. He said, she said. He said, she said. From day one. Allegations of who did it. Now we have switching of lawyers, no lawyers. Oh my God. And a daughter who attended the school, assumingly still attends Washington State while Koiberger was there. Are you hearing what I'm saying? If you are in the chat speaking, feel free to hit the link to give your opinion. Oh man, this is just bad, man. She apparently hasn't spoken to the other daughter either since this, and that's crazy to me. All of this is crazy. This case is wicked. It's bad enough with the social media hype and people putting their 2 cents in, like all the other crimes that take place. Everybody pretending they know what's going on with these people, these dead kids, their parents, their friends, frat this, frat that. I was wanting to bring a video yesterday, but I got sidetracked. I wanted to talk about BF. What does she really know about this, the night or the morning of the crimes? Because we don't hear much about her because her name wasn't mentioned in the affidavit. But this is what happens. Every time I plan content, something else always jumps off in the case. Every time. I've had, I don't know how many videos planned for months. And I never get to do them. Because every time I plan to do a live pertaining to something else, something jumps off before I can even get the other content out. Whether it's pertaining to the case or it's just a different topic. So it's like I'm behind on things I wanted to bring because of all this foolishness with Quentin Simon and now me talking about this case here. And I understand what Cara is saying about the police knew of Koiberger at the end of November. He was on the radar officially November 29th. November 29th, he was officially on the radar as a student and driving the white Elantra. Once they saw the Elantra the 25th, he was put on radar on the 29th. So school was still in session for about what? Going into 2 weeks, Second week of December, school's done. So at this time, he is still living in Washington State. He is still a student. Jasmine is a student at Washington State. And how sick is it to know you're walking around this school with the killer, alleged killer, who killed your sister 15 minutes away? I want you to process what I'm saying to you. What are the odds that you are walking the campus with the alleged killer of your sister while he's already on radar November 29th? And doesn't, repeat, does not get arrested until December 30th. Follow what I'm saying. November 29th, car suspect on radar by local officials. He does not get arrested until December 30th. So from November 29th to December 30th, he's walking free and also on the campus with the victim's sister and everybody else. Because everybody to me was a moving target for Koiberger. You do not know if he had a hit list. You do not know if he had a manifesto. You do not know if he was stalking any other females. We're not going to know all that until trial. But nobody was safe. That's why Moscow had to take it back, backtrack that statement. Nobody was safe. You don't kill 4 people and then tell the public, oh, you're safe because we think we know who the target is. That's illogical thinking. Nobody was safe so long as Koiberger is walking around, if you want to believe he is the killer. This, oh wow. Whoo. 29 attorneys on the roster for Idaho public defenders. 14 qualified to handle death penalty cases. Ms. Taylor was the only one in the jurisdiction to handle the case pertaining to the Idaho forced slayings. She has now been recused as Koiberger's attorney, and I would assume possibly Miss Cara's too, because she already removed herself from Cara's cases the 5th of January. Now we are almost at the end of the month, and my understanding there's no representation for Koiberger. So this is going to put this in a tailspin. So now June will be obsolete because he doesn't have an attorney. So what are you going to do? Find somebody from Mars, Jupiter to represent him? And this is so sad. This lady, she's not talking to other parents. She needs to be talking to these other parents. Mr. Gonsalves, your family, whomever. She needs to have camaraderie with the other parents because all the children were in the house together. Cara needs to be involved with the other families. So what is going on? Does she not want to talk to these people? Because I find it strange. Banfield is still asking her the same questions over and over and over. They're the same damn questions. She keeps giving you the same damn answer. No. So, Cara, do you want to be involved with these people or not? Do you want to reach out to these people or not? Have you attempted to reach out to any of the victims' families directly? Number 1. Have you directly reached out to DM and BF directly? Do you directly call the police department on all the updates and information, district attorney's office? You have to be vigilant. If you want justice, you have to be in the mix. You cannot expect for these people to find you and knock on your door. You call. You give your number. So I want to know what she's doing this at the beginning of this story. And where is Xana's dad? Because something is off between all of these people. The only person you've heard talk the most was Mr. Gonsalves and their family. Ethan's family has given commentary recently, only after the arrest of Bryan Koiberger. But I find it strange, Xana's mom seems aloof into the dealings of this case with police, district attorney, family members, and also the survivors. Why is that? All of you all should be talking, meeting with one another, lunch, dinner, calling each other, checking up on each other. Your kids were friends, so you all should be talking to each other. You don't got to be best friends, but damn. What's wrong with picking up the phone and calling somebody? Hey, was thinking about you. How are you doing? Do you need anything? This woman is troubled. She's a drug addict, possible alcoholic as well. She needs friends. And I can honestly say that after all that has happened with her child and those other kids, this is a wake-up call for Miss Northington to get her life together, to bond with any of the children that she has, if possible. Because this being aloof and not knowing what's going on is unsettling to me. She needs to be proactive. I'm not saying she's not, but it doesn't sound like she is because she doesn't know anything. And that's either one or two things. Nobody's talking to her or she is not inquiring. And if you're not inquiring, why not? This is too much for me. My opinion, she has some struggles. Seems like she's waiting for others to reach out to her. They need to be together to support each other. Just because Xana mom has struggled doesn't mean she deserves to know too. Doesn't mean she doesn't. I can't even pronounce what I'm saying. Doesn't mean she deserves to know too. Hello, everybody. Well, I'm just going to say this. The kids have been gone since the middle of November. Okay? January. December, January. You're talking about now 2.5 months almost. How long are these people going to wait to be talking to one another? Because all this should have been done in the beginning of the case. All the parents should have collectively sat down somewhere private to talk about their children with one another, to talk about their relationships, to talk about any type of misgivings in the house, to talk about who was doing what. And that also means the two roommates. If I would have had, it was me, I would have drugged them two heifers somewhere. Hey, I got to talk to you about mine. You were there, I got to talk to you directly. I don't need Moscow police to talk about mine. That's what should have been done day one. When you found out two were alive in the house, everybody should have gotten together and had a discussion about what the fuck happened from the 12th to the 13th. And anything before the 13th. Because only one family doing all the talking, never sat right with me. I never cared that the Gonzaleses were the only ones doing all the talking. Everybody else was quiet. It didn't look right. Because that made a person think that only one person was murdered. Why aren't these other people talking? Now we got this mother who doesn't seem to know anything about her own child. And it may be that they didn't have a good relationship for whatever reason. But now is the time, Miss Cara, to inquire about your daughter, her friendship with these kids. You need to be talking to these parents. And you all need to be reaching out to her because at this point you should see the woman is sad. She's in a bad way. And I'm sure some of you are still in a bad way, but possibly you're not facing the type of challenges she's facing. She needs help because this will definitely put her back where she came from. If she's a drug addict, this will make her use drugs even more because we already know that with trauma, people relapse. And she already said she needed to be in rehab, so that means she's a current addict. And most feel that even if you are in recovery, you're still an addict. So she needs help She needs a drug program, and she needs friends, genuine friends, genuine people to be concerned about her. But she also has to do her part and be accessible and reach out. You can't expect people to do all the work. So I employ all these people to get together and talk to one another and be a support system for one another, because all your children died in this house. All your children were friends with one another. This is so... I'm telling you, I have no words for what I just read and heard today. You're welcome, sweetheart. This is a very baffling case. It was one thing not knowing who killed the kids, listening at all the gossip pertaining to the kids and who the killer could be. Then we find this guy. Still got people don't even want to believe the DNA on the snap button. Still trying to say he's innocent when they've got him at the scene, DNA at the scene. And that's not including what else they got from the car, his apartment, his parents' house, eyewitness, anything else. You don't know what's left. Now we find out Xana's sister attends the same damn university. Miss Taylor was representing Xana's mom in drug cases. She just put her down the 5th of January. Now, allegedly, she's recused herself from BK's case. Man, whoo. Can't tell me the devil ain't busy. This trial will probably take years. And that's what's so sad about these trials. It's things like this that uphold the judicial process. One moment, please. Putting this back into the chat. Excuse me if I sound a bit off. The information's got me just thrown off today. Twisted web indeed. Let's see what we can find about, I've lost my train of thought of what I'm supposed to be looking for. Oh, Kohlberger. One moment. Trying to find some content. Let's see, Yahoo is the only one that has a story. And this was January 24th. This would have been earlier in the week. Fox News is the source. The court-alone defense attorney representing Idaho student murder suspect Bryan Kohlberger had until recently been assigned to defend the mother of one of his alleged victims, court records show. Kootenai County Public Defender Ann Taylor had previously been assigned to represent Cara Northington, the mother of 20-year-old victim Xana Northington, prior to Kohlberger's arrest on December 30th in unrelated drugs possession case. Repeat that again. Miss Taylor had been assigned to represent Cara Northington prior to Kohlberger's arrest December 30th on unrelated drugs possession case. Court records show she withdrew on January 5th, the same day as Kohlberger's initial appearance before an Idaho judge, and has been replaced by Christopher Schwartz. Schwartz did not immediately respond to a request for comment Tuesday. Taylor was appointed Kohlberger's provisional defense attorney shortly after his arrest and became his official public defender at his appearance in Latau County Courthouse after he waived extradition in Pennsylvania and returned to Idaho. He had been arrested at his parents' house in Pennsylvania's Poconos Mountains. more than 6 weeks after the alleged crimes, and police said they discovered DNA from a trash can there that was a familiar match. Toe DNA found on a knife sheath left near one of the victims' bodies. Kohlberger faces 4 counts of first-degree murder and a felony burglary charge after police allege he entered a home on King Road in Moscow and ambushed 4 University of Idaho students there. Connoted her boyfriend Ethan Chapin, 21-year-old housemates Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonzalez. The attacks came around 4 a.m. November 13th, according to authorities. In Latau County Coroner Kathy Mabbitt previously said that at least some of the victims were likely asleep at the beginning. 2 other housemates were unharmed, including one who police say witnessed a masked man with bushy eyebrows flee after the killings. Gonzalez's dog also survived the attack. The police later said they found possible animal hair while serving a search warrant at Kohlberger's apartment in Pullman, Washington, 10 miles away from the crime scene. Kohlberger, a Washington State University doctoral student, had been stalking the King Road home for weeks, according to a probable cause affidavit. His cell phone pinged near the house at least a dozen times before the murders and once the morning after. Taylor revealed at a January 12th appearance that her claim intends to challenge the evidence against him, but waived his right to a speedy preliminary hearing. Latau County Magistrate Judge Megan Marshall scheduled the proceedings for the last week of June, and they are expected to take 4 to 5 days. Prosecutors could speed up the timeline by seeking a grand jury indictment instead of waiting until the preliminary hearing to prove probable cause, experts have told Fox News Digital. The court has issued a gag order barring attorneys and investigators from commenting on the case. Kohlberger is being held without bond and could face the death penalty if convicted. This is by yahoo.com and also Fox News. Thank you for joining me. Oh, Lordy. Well, it wouldn't surprise me if it did. Because everyone knows that people who drink and use drugs cannot handle stress. And most people turn to drugs and alcohol during dire situations. That's usually what leads up to heavy drinking and drug usage. So this will not help a person with dual addictions losing their child. As she said in the commentary here, she will never get over losing her child. And that's to be expected. This is bad. Is somebody from the district attorney's office, the public defender's office, going to speak on this debacle between Kohlberger and Taylor and Cara? Somebody needs to say something because people are going to be looking for an explanation. And the right thing to do is to tell us how the hell this came to be. And we already know you're going to make up some lame-ass excuse and say, well, it was an oversight. We didn't know, blah, 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 blah. But people are going to be expecting an explanation. And you can't say that this woman, her case has nothing to do with Kohlberger's case. They may not have anything to do with each other. But you don't know if the prosecutor would call her as a witness or the defense could have wanted her as a witness. And how is she going to be a witness and you're representing her? Same office is representing her. That would be a problem. That would be an utter problem. Because, as I said, there will be character witnesses for the victims, naturally. I don't know of any murder trial where somebody doesn't speak on behalf or against the victims and also the client, suspect. This is a very serious situation. So now June will come and it won't even mean anything. Hopefully they'll file an indictment to get this case on the docket sooner. Tough cookies. She can pass over the little information she's gotten and give it to the next attorney, Mr. Schwartz. And all this running over to the house, searching the house, stopping to haul to them, cleaning the house, and giving the house back to the management team or owner to now have this mess. You all remember that weeks ago? They stopped the cleaning process of the house when she was appointed Kohlberger's lawyer. So all this has been for nothing. You know, something for him, naturally. Nothing to us. But that's their judicial right to see all evidence pertaining to the case. But now it's a hot mess with her recusing herself. He's now got a new attorney. And this is going to lead people to wonder, well, if Mr. Shorts can be appointed the attorney, who is he and where is he coming from? Same public defender's office? Because now you're contradicting yourself. Stay woke now. Oh, she's the only one that can do it in the jurisdiction. But the roster shows at least 14 in the state can try a death penalty case. Just they don't work in, I guess, the Moscow County line. Well, he's not getting out of that jail. Let me make this clear, because a lot of people love to say that. Oh, he's going to go free. You're not going to go free when, one, you don't even have a bail. You don't have a bond. Can't go free and there's no bail, no bond. You have evidence linking you to the crime scene. That's how the probable cause came about in the affidavit. And God forbid they decide to go before a grand jury. They say, yay, it's a wrap. He ain't going nowhere. And ain't nobody getting ready to let no killer run around after killing 4 people brutally. And then there's DNA linking him to the crime scene. Your fingerprints on the button. Some type of touch DNA. Somebody's going to say, oh, yeah, we're just going to let him go because it's an issue with the lawyers. We just going to let him go. That has nothing to do with the probable cause affidavit. This issue with the lawyers. That's their problem. They debunkled all that up. That has nothing to do with what they have against Kohlberger, what the state has against him. What the state has against him versus this lawyer Hollywood shuffle business, that's some personal business that they have to take care of. That is not going to get their client out of jail. There ain't no get out of jail free card here. Because I think most people would be livid to think that anybody in their right mind will let him out free. 2 girls he left behind. Also, a victim's sister is at the same university. No. Threat to society, community, no. Pam, no. They said they would have had no knowledge of being his attorney, assigning, so probably vice versa. I don't know. He would possibly look at all types of things, so I can't say. We'll have to see what they have on his computer, what's been searched on his computer, his devices. If he's been out, as I said, watching certain things, such as judicial process, planned it all out if I get caught, but he couldn't say who would be his public defender. Because in certain areas of this crime, it's obvious Bryan is dumb as a bag of rocks. He's very dumb. Because if you hadn't planned out a crime to know you don't take your car to the crime scene, I doubt that he would have looked up public defenders in advance and gambled that this lady would be his public defender. And she just so happened to represent the girl's mother. But it's just like what I told you all. I won't doubt that he has Googled these kids' parents, where the parents live, their brothers, their sisters. So now you think about Ethan having, he was a triplet. Kohlberger probably knew all of that. And this is what happens when you're on social media all the time and you're putting your life out there for people to talk and speculate. You don't know who's watching. So like right now, you can go on Facebook, share somebody's picture with somebody else on Messenger or in their cell phone directly to their number. And I don't think people really think about that. You can be talking about somebody. Hey, I saw him with this guy, this girl last night. And then the person's like, well, what do they look like? Hold on a minute. Let me go on their page. I'll send you the picture. That's dangerous. People just, it's one thing people just looking at your photographs, looking at your live streams, but you're not really thinking about all those pictures you post to Facebook, IG that somebody's sharing that stuff just to be either facetious or wanting to show somebody what you look like or verify who somebody is in a photograph. This is how these hackers use your information and your picture and name to open up fake profiles, because you have pictures on your page. So it's easy to take that information and make a fake profile using your name and your photographs. Thank you, Joelle. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you so much. Fairy Dust says he didn't plan for this to happen. No, I don't think he planned for the public defender. No, because I don't think he would have any. He wouldn't know that because she didn't know she was going to get the case. The point is, you don't know what all he has searched. That's my point. I said this weeks ago. If he found these kids on social media, he's probably Googled their names, birth dates, all of that, where they live, where they went to high school, parents' names, siblings' names. And who's to say he didn't already know Xana's sister was right there under his nose at Washington State? Who's to say if Xana ever crossed over to Washington State to visit her sister? Why not? They're both college students. They're 15 minutes away. Or so, let's say. Because I don't know exactly where Jasmine lived, if she was on campus or in the jurisdiction of Pullman, Washington. Well, that's a good point, Pam. I closed down my Facebook years once I realized my photos became their property. I said no more. Well, and that's what you need to consider. Is it really worth being on social media? Because your posts are shared, your commentary is shared, viewed, and your pictures, which to me is more personal than anything you could ever say on Facebook, besides just a live threat. But your pictures are important. So you're showing all of your family pictures, personal pictures, pictures when you were a child. It's very dangerous. And some of you don't believe that, because some of you like social media. You like going live. You like talking, telling all your problems on Facebook. God knows I'm tired of that. Like I told a friend yesterday, I said, if I wanted to go on Facebook and just really talk and tell some stuff, a lot of people's feelings would be hurt. A lot. But why do it knowing it stir up trouble? But there's people who don't care. They'll put your government name up there and talk about you like a damn dog. But Facebook is dangerous. All of it. Facebook, IG, it's all the same. Showing your location, showing where you're from. You put all that personal shit up there about where you go to school, where you live, where you work. You are a moving target once you put all that stuff on social media. I do not recommend it. That's why a lot of people now, they don't have work to show, place to live, occupation, because you don't know people. Very dangerous. But that's my latest information pertaining to Leilani Simon. The prosecutor in the case wants limited live streaming and broadcast in the courtroom. And there's new information coming out pertaining to Miss Cara, the mother of Xana Kernodle. Cara has drug charges or had a drug case. Miss Taylor represented her allegedly, but she removed herself on the 5th of January. And now she's been removed by self from Mr. Korberger's defense. And Mr. Schwartz is now his public defender. All I want to know is, when did Miss Taylor find out of the two? Korberger versus Miss Cara. Did she do this for clout because it's a high crime case? Or it was a minor snafu? Or she did it to throw his case off deliberately? Because as I told you all before, don't you find it strange? He's killed 3 women and a man, stalked them, and then goes into court and has a woman judge and a woman public defender. Hello? woman hater, possible incel, serial killer wannabe, and sits in the court with a woman attorney, long hair, blonde, versus a dark haired, long brunette as the judge. What are the odds? There are no words for this latest information. And somebody has some explaining to do. So I will wait to see if we hear something from the district attorney's office, the public defender's office, commentary from Ms. Taylor directly, and then commentary from a Mr. Schwartz. And due to the fact that there's a gag order, will they even be allowed to say anything pertaining to this recusal from Ms. Taylor? Maybe not. Because a gag order has been issued in this case for family members' attorneys, anybody involved in the investigation. So no one may not even be able to say anything pertaining to what happened between Miss Taylor, Cara, and Koiberger's defense. And as I said before, Cara needs real friends, supportive people. But she also has to be able to reach out to people and be accessible. Because from her interviews with Banfield, it doesn't seem like she was in tune to Xana's life. And that bothered me. But I also know that everybody has history, and sometimes people are not close for obvious reasons. Plural. And perhaps these two never had a bond or a good relationship, or maybe she was, in and out of trouble in jail while raising her children. And maybe this is why she did not know much about Xana, because she's not around her, either by her choice or by Xana's choice at the time. So now we have to ask, does she have a good relationship with Jasmine? How many children does she have total? And does she have a good relationship with her remaining children? And as I said, lost my thought. This is just a bad situation. This should bring her closer to her children. I'm going to put it like that. After everything that's happened to the children, her not talking to these people about the case, the surviving roommates, the other families, this should make her reach out to them, reach out to the district attorney, the detectives. She also needs to reach out to the public defender's office and ask for an explanation. And she needs to go get herself treated so she can be accessible for when this case goes to trial. Because she needs to have a strong mindset to be able to withhold everything that's going to come about in this case. And a weak mind is not going to be of use to her. She needs to be on her toes. So she needs a support system. But I also know it takes two. So I really don't know her disposition and what type of person she is. But I did feel bad for her listening to her interviews with Banfield, because she seems broken to me. And I don't know her life story. I don't know how many times she's been in trouble with the law. But she needs help. She needs it fast. And she needs support. And all these parents should be trying to rally around her. And she needs to do the same. It's a two-way street. I want to thank you all for following the content. Thank you for the birthday wishes. God bless all of you. Thank you so much. Queen's turning 52 on Sunday. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, last night I had a wonderful time. I will be probably live a little later tonight. I want to talk about BF. I want to talk about what she knew, what she saw, what she heard the morning of the 13th of November, 2022. Did she ever come out of her room? Did she ever talk to DM during the course of the opening doors and hearing noise? Seeing the suspect. What all does she know? Is she currently going to school? Idaho University, she and DM. Are they currently going to school or are they doing school online? Very interesting information. And is there a secret code amongst these sorority members to not talk? Someone has uploaded a video on that subject matter. Please check out my community board, because I did not know the two remaining were sorority members. And so one is going to ask that question, because many people have. Did you call others over to the house before calling 911? Because the captain says the call came from inside of the house of someone passing out. And we now know one of the roommates' phone was used, but by an outside party that did not live in the house. So how could somebody be in the house of a bloody crime scene dialing 911 on a survivor's phone? Make it make sense. How is an outsider or more at the house or inside of the house using the phone to call 911 about a deceased person or persons before the police was notified? And if indeed this is true, why would you girls call strangers over before calling 911? Were you concealing something, hiding something, saw something all along and didn't tell the truth, lied in an affidavit or legal report of this story? What's the truth? Once again, if you'd like to donate to this great network, $ began to 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are welcome during the live streams. Thank you for following the content. Welcome new subscribers, viewers. Thank you so much. Thank you for the birthday wishes. You all have a wonderful day. I'll be back a little bit later. And you've been listening to The Vault XL.